Hello. Hi, world. Hello, friends. Hi. Oh, I forgot that you'd be able to see schmutz in my background. Pardon me for having a messy office. There's a box full of sex toys over there. Go figure. Hi. If you are joining us live, please type in the chat where you are coming from. It's a Friday. It's St. Patrick's Day. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day where you are? I don't have a habit of celebrating St. Patrick's Day, but I imagine that for some of you, you are planning on having green beer today. And I love that. Hi. Okay, Sweden. It's the middle of the night there, I bet. California, Madison, Wisconsin, DC, Delaware. Hi, hi. Hi, Guillermo. Portland. Hello. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's the best live chat comment I have ever seen. Why do you always come on my homepage, but never on my face? I don't. Oh, Sway, you're winning a prize for that. Send us an email because that was freaking good. Hi. Oh my gosh. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. So good to see you. Today is an awesome day around here at Caitlin V and BPP Coaching because after 7 long years, we have finally created a course for erectile dysfunction and for getting and staying hard and having awesome, consistent erections. And I am here to share some of the wisdom and insights that I picked up along the way with you from this course live. And I hope that you will check it out. The link is in the description, but I'm here to share with you live on YouTube for free some of the greatest pieces of wisdom from that course so that you can get hard by summer, because that is today, or this weekend is the first official weekend of spring. I guess unless you're in Australia, in which case hard by winter, because we're switched like that. But my course, if you were to take it and you were to start implementing today, then by the time that summer rolls around, you could be getting harder, stronger, more consistent erections. Would anyone here like to have harder, stronger, and more consistent erections by summer? Just type in the chat or give me a thumbs up, like this video so that I know that this is something that you're interested in. And also let me know if this is the first time that you're joining me on a live stream. There are people from all over the world here, including places where I have lived, like Illinois and Southern Indiana, and Canada. Well, lived for short periods of time in Canada. We've got people from Oregon and the UK. Great. Yes. I stay bricked up. Good for you, Grizzly. Love that for you. Cool. All right. Excellent. So I'll give you the little bit of a backstory here. My new course, Hard as You Want, people have been asking me, y'all have been asking me, unless maybe this is your first time watching me live, y'all have been asking me for years to do a course on erectile dysfunction, because I had a course called Come When You Want on premature ejaculation that came out 5 years ago. And you guys were always like, Caitlin, this is great. We love it. Thank you. When is the next course? Because like premature ejaculation only affects 3 in every 10 men. Erectile dysfunction actually impacts 4 out of every 10 men in their 40s, 5 in their 50s, 6 in their 60s. Actually, the majority of men, once you get past the age of 50, deal with some erectile dysfunction. So a lot of men are dealing with erectile dysfunction. And in my coaching, I see younger and younger men dealing with ED too. It is not unusual now for me to have guys 20, 24, 30 years old that are dealing with ED. Right? Michael Spencer said, thanks for nothing. I don't know what I didn't do. Please share more in the comments on what you're not thanking me for. Y'all were asking for this course, but I was reluctant to put out a course on erectile dysfunction because it's complicated. It's effing complicated. And anyone that tells you otherwise is trying to sell you some snake oil. I'll tell you what, if they're like, this is the cure, you'll get hard every single time. Yeah, what are they selling? A gas station supplement with some wild ass herbs and maybe some illegal Viagra in it. Like, not safe, not okay. Snake oil, snake oil, snake oil. People out here selling nonsense because you know what? Men who are struggling with ED, who can't get hard, who want to be able to give their girlfriend or their partner the real thing, want to feel confident enough to date again, even though they're not getting the hard as they want. Like they are vulnerable. They're a vulnerable population. You know, they're vulnerable because they're having a very serious, very complicated, very hurtful, challenging issue that they're living with. And in some cases they're in a place where they would like to try anything, including like gas station pills or smoothie recipes, or you know, the internet is just full of nonsense on this, right? And and the reason for that is because actually treating ED is really complicated. And as a coach who's worked exclusively, well, nearly exclusively with men for the last 7 years, I can say that there is not one, not two, not five causes of erectile dysfunction. But as a coach who's been working with men, I have outlined 45 primary causes of erectile dysfunction. 45. As this is just me as a coach. I'm in my mid 30s. I got a lot more time left on planet Earth. I hope, knock on wood, a lot more time left coaching. I have found 45 primary causes of erectile dysfunction. Can you believe that? Is that like overwhelming, or are you guys still with me? Are you like, holy stay with me? Because doctors, medical doctors, treat between like 10 and 15 of those 45. And therapists, in my personal experience, treat like another 10 to 15 of them at total, right? But that's if you have a good doctor, maybe multiple doctors actually, because you might need an endocrinologist, you might need a cardiologist, and maybe multiple therapists. It's complicated, right? There's so many reasons. So what I had to do is I had to personally get all 45 of the primary causes of erectile dysfunction, including the 10 or 15 that I think are like the sneakiest, most hidden, like hardest to identify, hardest to treat versions of erectile dysfunction. I had to get all of them together and then outline a system that would work for all of them and capture all of them. By the way, that doesn't mean a single system that you apply exactly the same to all of them. That means one system that you can use parts of to address your individual type of erectile dysfunction. I'll say a little bit more on that. At its core, what I have found by working with men, and keep typing in the chat to let me know that you're with me, because this is a big subject, okay? I just need to know that you're with me, you're listening. This is interesting. I'm not freaking you guys out. Like, I want to help you. So, what I've learned from all of my clients is that each man's erectile dysfunction, or I'm not even going to call it just erectile dysfunction, I also want to call it erectile flow issues. Because some of y'all get really hard under some circumstances. You wake up in the morning hard. When you masturbate, you're hard. But not under circumstances like you're with your wife, or you're with a partner, you're with a girlfriend, first time, you're in front of people. Maybe you can have great sex and stay hard at home, but when you go to the sex club, or when you go out into public, or you're with a new lover, you can't get hard, right? So it's not just ED, because ED suggests that you're not getting hard 50% or more of the time that you want to. It's also just like, are you getting as hard as you want and when you want, with total and perfect control? Still with me? Great. So 45 different reasons that men deal with erectile flow issues, but all of them come down to 5 different areas of your life and your well-being. And if you are blocking the flow in any one of these 5 areas, you're going to have trouble getting hard. Does that make sense? Erections are a system. They are made up of many different systems that all have to have flow in them. The first system is the physical system. That's your physical body, right? That is your blood flow, but that's also the flow through your nervous system of electricity, energy, and information. And for those of you who are asking about diabetes, absolutely, we're going to cover that. Stick around. If you don't have proper blood flow and you don't have proper energy flow, you are not going to be able to get erect, right? At least not in moment to moment. consistently. So the very first system that we have to address for all men, diabetics and healthy men and men who have multiple chronic conditions and men who are young and men who are older, is we have to first address the physical body, because the physical body is the home of everything, right? Without the physical body, there's no penis, there's no erections. It doesn't really matter what's going on in your mind or the rest of you. If your physical body isn't able to support erections, then it's not going to make a bunch of difference. And for us to treat all the other parts of you, which I'm going to go through, I'm going to outline the 5 major areas. So first you have to have physical flow. You have to have blood flow. And there's a lot to say on that, because there's many chronic conditions that can cause erectile dysfunction, but you also have to be experiencing flow in your nervous system. And there's a lot of things that can cause ED that occur in your physical body, like biochemically. Anyways, point is, we start with restoring the flow in the physical body, right? Does this make sense? This is where most doctors stop, right? Like, who here, by the way, in the chat, right? Have you ever been to a doctor to talk about erectile dysfunction? Have you ever been to a physical doctor? Say, I have. If you've been, type into the chat, I have. If you've ever spoken to a doctor, an MD, a medical doctor, could be your PCP, could be but that's a primary care physician, could be your general practitioner, could be a urologist, or it could be even an endocrinologist, for my diabetic guys out there. I have. Great. Okay, cool. So then you probably know that most physicians, not all, but the majority of medical doctors out there, kind of their answer is to maybe throw some pills at you, right? I mean, let me know, guys who have been there. What did they do? What did that doctor offer to you when you went to see them to get treatment for your erectile dysfunction? Maybe they offered you pills. Maybe a handful of really qualified doctors offered to support your overall well-being, talked to you about your blood flow or your cardiac health or your prostate or your thyroid, but a lot of them actually aren't even that well versed in this, and they just throw Viagra at you. They just throw a pill at you. Now, some of you asked me earlier, am I for or against Viagra? It is not that simple. I can't say yes or no. I'll say I'm not against anything that works. Okay, if it works for you, I want it to work for you. I just don't want you to have to use it to get hard, because I think that getting hard is your birthright. As a man, if you have an erection, if you have a penis, I think it's your right to be able to get hard and get off. And also, it's good for you to get hard and get off. It's good for your prostate. And here's the thing, so you guys are already mentioning it in the chat. Viagra doesn't always work. In fact, I've seen one study that says it doesn't work in 1/4 of men. That's a lot. That means 25% of men, this is the thing that we're giving them that's just going to fix their ED, and it doesn't work for up to 1/4 of them. Does that sound like a viable treatment to you? If something works 3/4 of the time, I don't want my car to work 3/4 of the time. I don't want 75% of my tires to stay on the road inflated, red flag. Yeah. Red flag. So you go to the physical doctor. If you are lucky, they'll test your testosterone. They'll test your prostate. They'll test your thyroid. They'll do a blood A1C, which is your blood sugar. They'll test your cholesterol. If you're fortunate, if they don't just write you a script and say, boop, okay, yes. And there you go. Also, if you're on nitrates, you can't take Viagra. Viagra, Cialis, all these PDE5 inhibitors, they cannot mix with certain other classifications of drugs, supplements. So please, even if you and they're very common street drugs too. So please don't take that unless it's prescribed to you and you've gone over what your other pills, what other prescriptions you're taking with a qualified healthcare provider. But that said, so now we've established that for the most part, you go to the doctor. And by the way, ED is one of the main causes for men to go to the doctor, right? Because I know I love y'all. A lot of y'all don't like going to the doctor. That's okay. I don't love it myself. A lot of men have it as a stereotype about not going to the doctor. So you go to the doctor, and then what does the doctor do? They give you the runaround, because they actually don't know. Half the time they do every test on you. You come out healthy and they have no idea why you have ED. Has that happened to anyone here? Type in the chat. If that was you, say that was me. I went to the doctor, pretty good, got the checkup, things are looking good. Doctor's like, I actually don't know why you're not getting hard. Here's some pills. Don't come back, And that's if you're lucky enough to have a doctor that knows what they're doing to give you those tests. I've heard so many horror stories from men that were just given the runaround by their healthcare system. They're calling, they're not getting answers, they're not getting called back. It is so disempowering for men. Like, you just wish someone would give you a straight answer. But the thing is that they can't, because they're stopping right at the first level. They're only capable of treating you on a physical, physiological, anatomical, biochemical, at best level. Okay. I see that a lot of you have had this experience because y'all are up in the chat. Yeah, exactly. They're just like, sorry, I can't help. And again, it's not their fault. Like, I don't want to come down on doctors because they're not trained any better. You know, the average doctor doesn't have a great background in sexual health. And by the way, almost all sexual health that doctors get trained on is female, vulva bodied, women's sexual health. Men's sexual health makes up like this much of their studying unless they specialize in it. But pelvic floor physical therapists, doctors, nurses, women's sexual health, huge conversation all over the news, everywhere, right? Men's sexual health is like, Viagra? As if men matter less, as if their sexual health matters less, as it's honestly, the scale is so different, right? Are you all with me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Tremendous difference in how we talk about men's sexual health and women's. Doctors are just not trained on it. Okay, so that's level one. We have to restore physical body flow. But if that was you and your physical body is in good shape, where do you go next, right? So inside of my system, next is emotional flow. Stay with me. Stay with me. Here's the thing about men. Men have been taught that they're not allowed to have emotions. Oh, my friend Trip is here. Men have been taught that they are not allowed to have emotions. Now, does that mean that they don't have emotions? Absolutely not. All mammals experience emotions. Y'all know golden retrievers? You ever like smack a golden retriever because they pooped in the house or something? Dogs have emotion. They show that they feel shame, right? But for whatever reason, we've been like human males, not allowed to have emotions. Just cut them out. Just shut them down. Stuff them down. Don't feel them. Definitely never talk about them. Don't let the women in your women in your life know that you have emotions. Certainly don't let any men in your life know that you have emotions. Just repress them, right? So what does repression do? It cuts off flow. Okay. Think about a hose. If you put a kink in the hose somewhere, you're not going to get flow out the other end, right? So if you've spent your whole life kinking your emotional hose, trying not to feel anything, no, trying not to feel hurt, trying not to feel heartbreak, trying not to feel disappointment, trying not to feel anger because you don't want to get angry and hurt somebody because you've been taught that as a man you're dangerous, right? And you're not allowed to show that you've been in pain. You're not allowed to grieve when someone that you love dies or someone breaks up with you. Just stuff it down. Kink, 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 kink. And then you wonder why. It's a fucking marvel why you're not able to get hard because you can't have any emotional flow. And the body is amazing. Human body is so incredible that when you repress one emotion, what actually happens is you repress all of them. Okay? Because I can't just be like, I don't want to feel sad. I only want to feel happy. Doesn't work that way. If I'm not willing to feel sad, guess what? I'm also not going to be able to feel happy because you kink the hose, the entire hose. It's not, you don't get 10 different hoses for all the different emotions, right? So what happens is that when your brain represses your emotions, and your emotions are energy in motion. That's why they move you to do stuff. That's why when you get angry, you stand up out of your chair, right? Is because the energy moves you to go do something about it, right? You gotta, get in there and stop this or yell at them or get them to shut, whatever it is. Gotta stand up for this kid that's getting bullied or need to go, cry for a second in the bathroom, right? When we were kids, like, we were told, don't have the emotion, don't show it. So what happens is we repress all of that energy. And what the body does, because the body is freaking spectacular, is that it does not allow you to get erect when you are putting all of your energy into repressing your organic, authentic emotional expression. Does that make sense? Your body goes, okay, it's obviously not safe here for us to be us. Right? Therefore, we better not get hard. We better not get erect. We better not want to have sex. We better not do these things. We actually need to just keep everything down inside, keep it pushed down, including your dick. Are you with me? Does this make sense? So I'm giving you the very, very the tip of this iceberg. In the course, I go into it in great detail. And I also talk about the 5 major emotions that cause us to lose erections. right? And those are, I give each one of them and a whole individual module. So, like, for example, the one on fear, we talk about stress. We talk about the way that stress is probably the biggest boner killer of all time. Just the tip. That's right. Is this making sense? Are you with me? Give me a thumbs up or type in the chat that you're with me. There's like 300 plus of you guys on here. I just want to make sure that you're following. If you have any questions, let me know as we're going. I try to watch the chat as much as possible. Great. With you. Awesome. Okay. So we have to restore emotional flow. And some of y'all have been in relationships, 10, 15, 20-year relationships, where you haven't been allowed to have emotions the whole time. Your wife or your partner's the one that's allowed to have emotions. And you're supposed to be the stoic one, true? You're supposed to be like the emotionless wall that holds the family together, the floor underneath everyone else. The kids can have emotions, women can have emotions, but you just got to keep it together. Stay stolid. Don't acknowledge that anything is going on. Repress the flow. Shh, right? The good thing about emotions is that we're built to have them. We are built to experience them. It is not rocket science. It does not take very much after you give yourself permission and sort of understand how to start to turn those emotions back on in a way that feels safe, in a way that doesn't feel so freaking threatening, like you're going to explode, right? So you start to turn them on. And when you start to turn them on, and what's really cool, and I've seen this over and over and over and over and over again in my clients, is that when you start to turn them on, stuff starts flowing, including your erections, including boners, right? Because the hose isn't being stood on anymore by you, right? It makes so much sense. All right, let's move on to the next area of flow. So we have the physical body flow, and then we have the emotional flow. Next is mental flow. So y'all will get this because men are allowed to be up here, right? We're allowed to think as men. Men are allowed to think. Women are allowed to feel. So emotions usually are a little bit more, they're expected for women. We're allowed to have emotions, but men are allowed to have thoughts, right? So what do? You've been trained to think thoughts on when you're allowed to be erect and when you're not, and what erections mean and what they don't mean, and what sex means and what they don't mean, right? And even from the time that you are a little baby boy, especially when you're in school, you've been told, don't get hard, right? How many of you had an experience, I guarantee it's probably every single one of you, where you got an erection when you weren't supposed to? You got an erection on the school bus and someone saw. You got an erection at school and you had to tuck your erection into your into the band of your sweatpants because you were nervous about it. You weren't allowed to have it. What do you think a lifetime of being told not to get hard does to the flow of your mental and your cock mind connection? Imagine, right? And we tell little boys, my friend Eric Leroy, who helped me, who consulted quite a bit on this course, was saying to me, the penis is like an antenna. It's out there trying to feel things. That's what it wants to do. Just like the human body, all of our skin, our eyes, our mouth, our nose, our ears, we're a sensory organ. We're out here just picking up sensory information, right? That feels good. That doesn't feel good. That sounds good. That doesn't sound good, etc. Well, our penis is just one more sensory organ. In fact, it is perhaps your most sensitive of the sensory organs, right? It's out here feeling good, and you're a little baby and you're touching yourself because it feels good, or you're a toddler or you're a small kid and you're touching your penis because it feels good, and people keep coming around and telling you not to do it. No, don't do it. Don't get turned on. And in fact, when you go to work or when you go to school, you just check your penis at the door. He's not welcome here. True? How many of you have had that experience? Say I have in the chat if that was you. I've had the experience of my penis is not welcome. I'm allowed, but the penis isn't. Keep the penis at the door. Penis stays outside. You go to a party, just a bunch of little penises looking inside of the window it's cold out here. We want to come in and party. True? Leave the D at the door. Yeah. And again, we don't do it because we know that it's the quote unquote bad for it. We do it because we want to fit into society, be loved, be accepted, be safe. We do it because it's what's necessary. I say that with air quotes, for us to fit into the world, right? Yeah, people you feel like a pervert just because you got hard. Can you imagine if you were a pervert just because you breathed in? There's someone clipping the lawn outside. If I got a sniffly nose every time my allergies came up, and I was made to feel like a pervert for having allergies, that'd be pretty fucked up, wouldn't it? Yeah, but that's how we treat penises. For just doing what they do naturally, we make them wrong, bad. You're wrong, bad. You better not get. And then what happens? Then you're with a partner, you're with a woman, you're alone, and then you're supposed to like, boom, just, oh, now penis is invited. And then what happens to your sex life is that that's the only place that your penis is allowed. So then your sex becomes just about your penis, and it becomes the sole focus point because that's the only because he's trying to make up for lost time and all the time that he was being vilified and told he couldn't come into the party, couldn't be acknowledged, couldn't be part of the situation. And then finally you have sex and it's all about him and all of that pressure on him to perform because this is the one time that he's allowed to exist. What does he do? He either comes too soon or doesn't get hard because he's not, it's like, it's so much pressure. You told him to sit outside for the last 23 hours, but this hour he's allowed to come in. That makes sense? So there's more to say on each of these subjects. I'm just giving you like a little bit of each of them, right? So part of the mental flow is getting clear on what your mind has to say about your penis, what your mind has to say about erections, what your mind has to say about men, about masculinity. It's a soup, right? All of the different thoughts that are in here affect your ability to get hard there, right? So we have to restore mental flow. And if you have some of these like really nasty little thoughts about getting hard and you maybe don't even know it. And by the way, there's this whole other piece on this, which is like when you're younger and you just get hard at the drop of the hat, you don't really have to think that much about how you get hard, right? But then you get older, you're over 40% of men age 40 have ED, 50% of men over age 50 have ED. By the way, I think so much of that is preventable. Like, I'm not gonna say all of it because aging bodies are aging bodies, right? I don't have the fountain of youth over here, but I think that like maybe half of that is preventable, so that it could be like 20% of men in their 40s, 25% of men in their 50s. I still think that's really, really high. I think we could get it down lower, but we'll have to be seen. Mental flow. Or is it going with that? Okay. So it's not just about what you think, strictly about whether or not you're allowed to have an erection. There's this other piece of this. How do I want to say this to you? Until you aren't getting erect, like just because you're pumped full of testosterone and you're in your 20s or your 30s and your body's just like mate, let's have sex, let's get this DNA out here, let's sow this seed, right? When that starts to decrease at the end of your 30s, beginning of your 40s, a lot of men have never had the experience of having to get aroused because they just got hard. So this is making sense to you. When you're young, you maybe just see a naked lady and like, you don't have to be naked. You could see somebody bent over at the grocery store getting a jar off the bottom shelf, and you're like, boop, cool, I'm hard. And then all of a sudden, you're in your 40s and you're not boop hard. And your partner's in front of you, and she's naked, and it's not happening the way that it used to, and you panic. Right? And you tell yourself a bunch of thoughts. Oh my God, I'm broken. There's something wrong. I'm never going to get hard again. All those thoughts create stress in your body. All that stress in your body makes it hard for you to get hard. Then you think more thoughts because they're like not getting hard. And then the thoughts are getting the way of getting you hard. And then you can't get hard because of the thoughts. And now you're in this vicious cycle, right? There's this piece for men that that no one actually tells y'all that you have to figure out what turns you on. Does that make sense? Because before you're just like, oh, I guess I'm turned on. I'm turned on by porn. Okay. Are you really? Or is it just that your body's very, very good at responding to these stimuli? And then all of a sudden it doesn't respond to the stimuli. Or all of a sudden you want to have your different relationship with porn because you want to get married or you want to date or you want to go out and spend more time in socializing with people and you realize that porn's getting in the way. Are you with me? Okay, let's move on. So we've talked about the physical flow. We've talked about the emotional flow and what gets in the way of that. We've talked about the mental flow. Okay. And in the course, I like to think of these as engines. So the erection is the check engine light. If you lose your erection, that's like the check engine light in your car saying, yo, bro, something needs to be looked at. You got to get under the hood. Okay. So we have the physical engine, the emotional engine, and the mental engine. Okay. Now let's talk about the roads that the car drives on. The roads are the relationships that you're in. Does that make sense? So the car, check engine light, sometimes what's actually going on is not inside the car, it's actually the road that you're driving on. Because if you're driving on a road that is terribly beat up, it's not paved, it's nothing but potholes, it's a nightmare to drive on, is that going to screw up your car a little bit? I know. Tell me, have you ever had a relationship where you were getting hard in the morning, hard when you're masturbating, but when it comes to that woman, that partner, you're not getting hard? Anyone say in the chat, that's been me? And by the way, in the course, we talk about how to make the distinctions so that you can actually pinpoint, again, because there's 45 different causes of erectile dysfunction. You need to be able to pinpoint which one is which for you. So I give you all the ways to measure so that you can say, this is the kind that I'm dealing with. This is the numbers that I'm dealing with. These are the things that I got to look at. Yeah. So you know that sometimes you're in a relationship where it is the road that the car is driving on that's screwing up the car. I mean, you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, here's pills. It's not a pill problem. It's a relationship problem. Someone just wrote in the comment, there are some women who want to help but don't know how. 100%. In the course, I actually made a whole bonus video that's just directed at women. Women, girlfriends, wives, partners, explaining what ED really is and how she can actually help. Because you know what we like to say? Women all the time are like, well, he's not getting hard. Is it my fault? Is it my fault? Is it my fault? And typically everyone says like, no, it's not on you. Da, 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 da. Guess what? Sometimes it is. Let's not use the word fault here, but let's just say, yeah, sometimes the reason that your partner's not getting hard does have something to do with your relationship. We don't do any favors when we say like, no, it's not got anything to do with you. It can. It actually can. So anyways, that's a bonus module. But inside of the relationship, there are so many factors inside of your relationship that can cause you not to be able to get hard. Okay. A lack of safety, a lack of trust, a lack of coherence, a lack of physical touch, a lack of like these foundational things, right? That can prevent you from getting hard because they're not present. And again, maybe when you were younger, it didn't take much, just whoop, okay, whatever, it didn't matter because I was just getting hard all the time because testosterone, because I was young, because blood flow, because I was working out all the time. And now I'm in my 40s and it's just not happening like that anymore, right? She's being mean. She's berating me. She's narcissistic. She's telling me all the time that I'm a pervert. I'm disgusting. She's telling me that that if I go outside without her, I'm cheating on her, right? All of these things, yes, communication, a lack of communication, a lack of safety inside of your relationship can cause you to not be able to get hard. And it can actually, by the way, cause you not to be able to masturbate, not be able to get hard when you wake up. Not like it is not just inside of the conversations that you have with her. Oh, I love this. Yes, Vince. I just want to be able to get harder. The course is preventative in nature. And because I hope you're getting the picture that we're talking about your physical, emotional, mental, and relational health, it's more than just how to get hard. It's how to look after your overall well-being. Because again, erections are a indication of your overall health. They're like, if the check engine light is not on, the car is pretty much good to go, right? But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the normal maintenance. You should be getting the oil change. You should be making sure that the tires are rotated. Like, you still got to do this maintenance if you want to keep the car in good shape and prevent the check engine light from going on. Does this make sense? Let me know in the chat that you're still with me and this is making sense. Yeah, and please check out the course. This is we've been on for 33 minutes. The course has one module on each of the subjects that we've discussed here. Okay, you get 90 days with the course to determine if you want to keep it. We have a 90-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. You buy the course, 90 days from now, you're not harder, you don't have a better relationship, you don't feel better, just send us an email and we give you your money back. You get basically a 90-day trial to make sure that it works for you. But I'm so flipping proud of this course. It is the best thing that I have ever done, best thing that I have made in my entire career. I think you're going to love it. That you get to try it. Take it on a test drive to continue our car analogy. Okay, let's keep going because I do have a client coming up in 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes left to finish this conversation. So we have the physical engine, the emotional engine, the mental engine. Then we have the relationship, right? That's the road that we're driving on. And then we have the condition of the whole system overall. And this comes down to many things, but including what I want to share with you today, your different identities. So, how you identify as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a man, as a sexual being. And then we have your history, right? And that includes your history of sex and relationships. Because I've had so many clients where I use this tool that is included inside of the course as a timeline, a way of doing your sexual history. And so many men don't realize the factors that contributed to their ED until they use this tool that helps them to go like event by event and say, oh, my ED started at the same time that this other thing happened. Oh, the story that I tell myself in my head about myself and my erection has more to do with my girlfriend from high school than it does with my wife who I'm married to today. So your identity and your sexual history actually make an incredible impact on your ability to get and stay hard. And first we have to restore the flow, right? Because it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter what you know about your history or your sex life or what got you to this point today. If there's no flow, there's no erection. So we restore the flow. And then we get into what your relationship to yourself, to the identities of dad, father, brother, lover, and your relationship to sex itself, and the influence that they have on your ability to get hard. Does this make sense? This is the system. So you have 45 different causes of ED that I outlined. And then I outlined a plan for each and every single one of them. And don't worry, there's overlap. So it's not 45 like completely unique plans. For the physical body ones, those have things in common. For the emotional body ones, they have things in common. And then the workbook for the course, I take you through each of those sections, each of the emotional, physical, mental flow, relational flow, and we give you a treatment option, a thing that you can do on your own in the workbook to help restore that flow. And then I give you for each of those 45, they work all together. I want you to do all of them, because even if yours is primarily maybe a mental flow, it's still going to impact your physical body and it's still going to impact your emotional body. So they're designed to be done all together. And then the 45 go through each sort of like the list of 45 that I made, which is included as a bonus, it's called the PE playbook, is something that I actually made for the coaches that I train. So some of y'all may know we have Team V coaches. So they work for me. They're trained by me. I have male and female coaches. I have coaches at all different kinds of price points because not everybody can afford to work with me as a coach. And I wanted to give everybody options. So I trained all the Team V coaches on these 45 different causes of erectile dysfunction. And then I decided to just give y'all that as a bonus for the course so that you would also have access to that. It is not to be shared. If you buy the course, please do not show that to anybody. That's just for you. That's a gift for you. And it's something that I use inside of my business to train my employees. Okay. But I wanted you to have it because when you see it, you're going to go, oh, God, that's me and that's me and that's me. Okay. Let me pull out what the plan is, how Kaylin goes about in her coaching sessions, which are, my individual clients pay me between 12 and 24,000 to work with me now. This is what I do. I say, these are the 5 steps that I would take that client who's paying me 12 or 24K to work with. I would pull out and do these things. And I just give that to you as a bonus in the course. There's also, I collected the top 20 tips bonus. I collected the top 20 tips from my clients on how they have stayed hard in the moment, because let's be real, it takes time to get over ED. You may learn some things that start making a difference tonight, may take 2-3 weeks, may take 2 or 3 months. You've been dealing with it for 15 years. It might take a year. That's a blessing, So as you're going through that, you're going to want some like tips and techniques as you're restoring the flow so that you, in the moment that you start to lose the erection, you don't panic, because panicking is basically the fucking death sentence, the last nail in the coffin of your erection. You want to do anything but panic. So I give you 20 different things to do other than panic. And I think I give you like 5 things that are directly sort of like counteract the desire to panic. Okay. I have maybe 3 minutes left in this live stream. Now's a great time for you to send me some comments, some questions. The link for the course is in the description of this video. If you bought the course, tell me that you bought the course so that I can shout you out on this live stream and celebrate you. And also, by the way, I do all of the comments for these courses. So if you're in the course and you have questions, all you have to do is type your question underneath the video that you have the question on, and then I answer your questions. So I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions and if you ask questions, I'm sorry, I'm doing this live. There's been an awesome amount of chat going on. It's been such a joy to see you all. You buy the course, the link is in the description below. Here, I'll get you the link too. It's been such a joy. If I missed your question, which I often do because I am trying to do 16 things at once in these chats or these live streams, there you go. There's the link too. You can go into the course, buy the course, comment underneath the videos, and I will answer your questions there. And I'm also thinking about doing something really special where we all go through the course together. Like if you want to get live coaching from me, haven't made this announcement yet, so I don't want to make it necessarily live here on YouTube. I wasn't planning on that, but I'm thinking about doing like a live mastermind with me leading the course so that you can watch it with me, and then you would submit like your information, your workbooks to me and Team V. And then we would be able to coach you based on what you're sharing inside of the workbook. So if you're serious about this being the last season, the last year that you deal with ED, then get in there. Make sure that you'll have to buy the course to be a part of that group. So you may as well get the course. And if you check it out and you're like, you know what, I actually would like Caitlin's help applying this to my own life, then you'll be already on the email list. We're going to send details about that as I sort it out. I'm doing that because the guys we did an early bird launch with the course, with the guys that are on my email list, they got a discount, they bought the course, and then they gave me feedback and we made it better. And this was one of the things that they requested is they said it would be really great to go through this with you and have you supporting us. Okay. Oh, here we go. Terrence Baugh. Woo! Congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry if I missed anybody else. I love you guys. I love spending Friday. Yes, we actually do talk about toys. I talk about products because, as I said at the beginning, there is so many nonsense BS stuff out there that claims to cure ED. And so I took all the products that I actually like and I outline them inside of the course. And I say who they work for and who should try them and who shouldn't try them. And actually, I just learned something new about penis pumps and how to get the most out of penis pumps yesterday. I'm already so excited to make an update video. And the course comes with free updates for life. Like once you're in it, you're in it. It's lifetime access. Check it out. The link is in the description below. I wish I could spend the rest of my Friday evening with you. The email, if you want to get in that like small group and go through the course together, you still got to get the course the first time. It's not included in the group. So check out the course if you want to go through it with me live. And if you liked this call, you would like doing live coaching with me because it's basically like this, but instead of 300 people and it's just a text like chat, it's actually Zoom and you can talk to me and we can talk to each other. Thank you, friends, for the like little gifts that you're sending me. I appreciate it. I'm going out with friends tonight, so I'll buy myself a cocktail with the $7 that you sent, my friend. Inner growth. Yep. I mean, that's a big piece of it. That's kind of what we're talking about. Okay. I got to go. I have a client. Mwah. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Love you guys. You're phenomenal. Whether you get the course or not, I hope this was super helpful for you. Please, in the comments, tell me what you liked best about this video. What like the biggest aha moment that you had was. Mwah. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.